Do not disturb on. Ears cranked all the way on to listen to what we're about to lay down on Beyond the fucking OC today, guys.
Oh, boy. I haven't seen you for a few days, CG. How are you?
Let's just say, Mom, your daughter's going through it.
Okay. And welcome to Beyond the OC, everyone.
I actually think today it should be called Beyond the fucking OC.
We had a few false starts today. It's been a while. I took 1 week off for vacation, and I haven't seen you in forever, and I feel like I haven't done this podcast in forever, and this is one of my favorite episodes. It's Welcome to Beyond the OC, number 41 in our OC Rewind, The Way We Were, Season 2, Episode 2. How are you doing, CG?
I'm pretty fucking awful.
Oh, no.
But that's okay, because we're talking about the OC, and it just makes me so happy. So I just, not think about everything that's going on.
Oh, what's all going on?
Let's just say it's really funny that we're talking about this episode. Mom, I haven't even updated you on this.
No, you haven't.
We're just going to update it to you and the Patreon users and the world at the same time.
Oh, my God.
I'm in the process of getting ghosted.
Really? Yeah. Oh, just like blocked.
Not blocked, but just I could sense the energy was off.
Yeah.
And there has been no communication in a couple of days, and I'm not going to be the first one to send something.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So let's just say it's funny we're talking about this episode, and before we even get into this, ladies, this is your grandmother CG talking.
Oh.
Men ain't shit.
Oh. Yeah.
At all.
No.
You don't deserve, or they don't deserve you.
Oh.
At all.
Oh, man.
And this episode proves it. If you don't even want to listen to the rest of the episode, that's fine. Just remember, men ain't shit. With that being said, let's get into The Way We Were.
Yeah, let's do it. Because you know what? I think there are moments in our lives where they are the shit, and there are moments when they aren't. And today, they aren't for you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
we really haven't seen each other. Normally, I call you every single day and I update you on stuff. And this is your update.
So, during the process of doing this podcast, you and I are back listening to the old podcast, right?
You guys were so funny. I love Patrick Rush.
That was one of the best podcasts. I've been having a hard time listening because some of them I'm like, what is
Patrick Rush? Can we have him on here? Because he was a hoot and a holler.
It was one of the best podcasts that Rachel and I had, that, or at least of all of the ones that I've been listening to while we've been doing this podcast. I'm like, oh, like we missed out on this, or there was awkward, weird silence or something, or we.
This one was so, I was like giggling along with you in this one.
Yeah.
I liked listening to this one, and I had so many little like funny things to write down.
It's almost like, it's like when you listen to it now that we've been doing it, you can see like there were times like we were just trying to figure it out, and there were times we're going in order, and sometimes it would kind of interrupt the flow of the conversation.
This one didn't though. Like you guys went in order, and it was still like going with the flow, and like maybe you said a few things out of order, but like who cares?
Right.
I thought this episode was very, very funny.
So I would think you guys, just because we're not going to cover the whole show, but we'll of course point out certain things, but it's worth a re-listen because it's really fun, and Patrick is very sweet. He was in...
Yeah, can you ask him to come back for ours for this one?
Yeah, maybe. But he was in the news recently.
Oh, for what?
So when he did our podcast, he was talking the very first time. He was like our second guest for the casting situation. And he talked about how Chris Pine was up for the role of Ryan, and that at the time he just had such difficult, or just
I remember that, yeah.
That it was so visible that it was one of the decisions that made them not go with him. And then it was repeated in the book. And Chris Pine was promoting his new movie that he directed. And
did someone ask him about it?
Somebody asked him about it, and he said, yeah. He goes, first of all, the man didn't have to say anything. and he goes, but that's my journey. That's what I had. And Patrick and I both said, I had really bad acne when I was like on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, you said you could see on the camera that it was just like bumps everywhere.
On my own. Yeah.
Yeah, on your own. On your own.
Sometimes. It was really painful. And Patrick was a child of it as well. But, anyway, so it's one of those things like, HD is very unforgiving. But yeah.
Mom, I love so many traits that you have given me, but you have not given me that genetic trait.
So you're happy for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have nice skin.
Guys, not sponsored, but the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, if you're watching us, it's the perfect summer glow.
Oh.
Charlotte Tilbury, sponsor us.
Yay. So anyway, let's get into this episode for what our experience is with this, because it's I didn't write a synopsis, and it was so funny because when I was going through and getting ready for the podcast, I was like, this episode has so many great one-liners and we even said it. Patrick said it as well. And Rachel said it. We just kept talking about the dialogue and how great it was. And this was Alan Heinberg wrote this. Michael Lang directed. We asked him to come on. He's recovering from a motorcycle accident, poor thing. So these were just some of my favorites. And the whole script is really...
I saw that you did this. Instead of writing a synopsis, you just wrote all the funniest quotes from the whole episode. So Mom, go ahead and just read the quotes.
Okay. We could not go. Can't not go. We can so not go. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ryan. Who's this guy? That's me with powers. The power to be handsome. What do you think? I think this may have something to do with the whole outcast thing. Do not honk at DJ. He's hot. There was a hot yard guy in the yard who was hot. Yeah, that's because he's me. You should see what she's doing, don't you? She's basically dating the wasp version of me. It's so stupid. Look at him. He's like, what? The conveniently attractive, athletic, confident, just completely non-neurotic wasp version of me? That's actually one of my favorites. Hey there, you... Wait, hold on. Hey.
Wait, I want to do this one.
Okay.
Hey, there you are.
What's the matter with him? Is he all right? Did he have a stroke? I have nothing to apologize to him for. Nothing. I am sick to death of putting myself on the line for this family and getting nothing. If you want to apologize, I'm done. I mean, the way we were wasn't always so great. Friends? Ryan, we're not friends. We were never just friends. I want you, Summer. No, you don't. You had me. You had me at Christmas in a freaking Wonder Woman costume, and you chose Anna. You had me 3 months ago, and you left. How was school? Oh, it was really good. I'm never going back. Just what a father likes to hear. Yeah, Ryan broke up with Marissa again. Summer broke up with Seth again. Zach will never talk to us again. Caleb Nickel, you're under arrest. Done.
Bum, bum, bum.
Anyway, those are just like great. And there were even more. So when I post for this, you guys, I always want to know, as we're getting, I guess, lower or higher in the countdown, people, some of the episodes that we've done, people were, they show their disdain for it, or they complain, or they point out things they didn't like. And this episode just was love. It was love bombing. It was.
Don't use that term, Mom.
Why? Is that bad?
Love bombing.
Is that bad?
I wish this had alcohol in it right now.
That's
what happened to me, Mother.
Oh, you got love bombed, and then it flipped. Okay, sorry. Well,
hey, Grandma, give me a shot of vodka in here, please.
Oh, CG, I'm sorry. Oh,
in my green tea.
Oh, right. We all want to look good without having to think about it, and look good with soft, elevated, durable pieces that fit beautifully, are comfortable, and don't restrict movement. The all-new Rone Women's Recover Collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and super versatile loungewear and workwear imaginable. The signature heavenly knit mid-weight fabric blend has dreamy inside-out softness and chafe-free seams so nothing gets in the way of you and your optimal comfort. So I was on vacation with my husband, and I wore both the workout wear and loungewear on our recent trip to the British Columbia rainforest. And okay, it's so beautiful. But not only were they perfect for our extra long hikes, which were extra, extra long, and our adventures in front of the fire, but it was also comfortable all day long, and I looked good doing it. Their pieces are ideal for wearing all day because they've got this amazing Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, which means more wears between washes and no lingering odors. Yes, I do that. This lounge collection is so soft, so luxe, so comfortable. It's comfortable anywhere. I can wear it running errands, hanging out with friends, in front of the TV. The Rone Women's Recover Collection champions rest as an integral part of any well-balanced life. Head to rone.com/OC to use promo code OC to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/OC and use code OC. Rone, for every day, for every you, forever forward. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever compared your life to another on social media or found yourself caught up in wishing your life looked like someone else's? We know that comparison can be the thief of joy, and it's easy to envy other people's lives. It might look like they have it all together on their Instagram, but in reality, they probably don't. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have so you can start living your best life. I think we all suffer from comparing to others from time to time. It can really mess with my focus and distract me. I found that talking to a therapist can be helpful when I need to just pause and, yes, focus on what's really important. It's a safe space where I can learn positive coping skills, set boundaries, and just become the best version of myself. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's super convenient. You do it all online, which means it fits right into your schedule. All you need to do is fill out a quick questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if you feel like switching therapists, you can do that anytime at no extra cost. So if you need to get things off your chest, BetterHelp is a great option. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/beyondoc today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/beyondoc. So Man X Steel 10 on Instagram said, and this is, season 2 was epic. This episode set the tone for the whole season, which I think is obviously the episode before. Seth was still in Portland, hanging out with Luke and his dad. Ryan was still in Chino. And at the end of it, he finally comes back because Teresa says that she's lost the baby and they're back.
I forgot about that. When Ryan says that, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I had no memory that that's what happened. I'm like, it just, reiterates the fact these teenagers need to go to therapy. Why weren't any of their parents putting them in therapy?
Yeah.
They all need therapy so bad.
Well, I made the point that, sorry, why is my watch is making...
I literally told you, do not disturb on, ears cranked all the way up for Beyond the fucking OC. And now your phone is going on. You didn't put it on Do Not Disturb?
I didn't yet. Not yet. So I did make the point that Summer is almost the therapist to these kids, don't you think, in some ways? When she
needs therapy too after what happened.
Yeah. No, I mean, she did say, yeah. Now, before we get into some of these things, I do have something, because people mostly commented on the core 4, the Seth, Summer, Ryan, and Marissa stuff. But Julie Cooper only had one scene that Patrick Rush just loves Julie Cooper.
Yeah, I have a few things to say about the adult storylines. And Mother, that outfit you were wearing, that bikini with the cover up, you were eating it up, girl. And there, for those of you not watching, she's holding up the Dior bikini she was wearing in that scene. Mom, can I have that?
Well, there's a problem.
Uh-oh. What's the problem?
Well, you know how elastic doesn't last for 20 years?
Oh, no. Is it like super stretched out on the bottom?
Look how white it is.
Can I have the top?
Yeah. I was going to wear it, and then I thought, no, I don't need to wear it.
You were going to wear it while we were recording?
Yeah, right now. Why not?
Put it on right now. Put it over your head.
I got it on. I'll put it on over my shirt. How's that?
Leave it there for the rest of the episode.
I'll just like this.
Dior. Just leave it there.
There. I mean, it's like literally the size of like a credit card. Dior.
Just leave it there. Perfect.
Carla Stevens put this on. Now, here's a couple of fun things that I found out about this episode. We had Corey Martin on, and I was like, hey, do you have the script for this? But she sent me beat notes, meaning it's like the first outline of before they write a script, like what's going to happen. And in this scene with Julie, where she turns around and she says, like, how long and all that. The beat note said that Julie it's the first time we see Julie vulnerable. And she looks at Sandy and says, will you help? And I was like, too soon. So she was,
Nope.
it was like, still like, oh my God, son of a bitch. This has been going on.
I want to say, so you being like, first of all, from this, Julie, because we bounce around a lot, I get a little confused. But I know, like at this point, Julie and Kirsten are not friends. Julie's like, if Caleb goes down, Kirsten's going down with you, Sandy, so you better figure out how to fix it. I'm like, how the hell do Julie and Kirsten become friends from this?
That's what Kelly Rowan always said.
Julie's a bitch.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah. A bitch. And then I want to say a little personal anecdote. Patrick Rush in the last podcast said, he was like, I love how you didn't yell. Like you showed your anger without yelling. And as I was listening to that, I was like, yeah, that's what she used to do to me in high school. Like you would just give me the eyes and the really stern, like talking to without moving your lips or your teeth and like dagger laser eyes into me. And I was yeah, the way she just talked to Sandy was what I received a lot in high school.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry.
But I love you now. But so it's fine.
I mean, I'll take responsibility.
But I was like, when Patrick Rush said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's not just Julie. That's not just Amanda and Nikita. Sometimes, yeah, you're nothing like Julie Cooper, but that like stern dagger eyes, you better fucking fix this.
Well,
no, don't take it off.
Oh, well, okay. Don't take it off. Okay.
Leave it on.
Leave it on. So
this is a silly episode today, Mom.
Okay.
I'm in a goofy, sporadic mood. You're leaving the bikini on. Let's just let it lie, and it is what it is. Okay. Leave the bikini on. It's that kind of day.
In high school, you would sometimes walk in the door and just walk to your bedroom and slam the door. And I was
yeah, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. There's drama going on at school.
I mean, I will say though, so we haven't even gotten into it yet. I'll say it later when we get towards the kids stuff. But I want to say something we're talking about the parent stuff. So the Julie and Caleb, like that, I know you were only in one scene, Mom, but you were so funny. Did he have a stroke or something? Like, you're fucking disgusted that he's old. I'm so sorry. I'm cussing like a sailor today.
Yeah. Are you high? Just kidding.
Yes. I'm high on forcing myself to feel happiness.
Oh, you're acting as if.
You're acting as if.
You're putting on. You're pretty. You look pretty.
Thanks. I'll tone it back with the cussing. Sorry, I just realized how much I was doing that.
That's okay.
And then when Caleb is over at the Cohens having breakfast, Kirsten's like, where's Julie? And this is the episode. He says Julie booked herself into the montage for a $3,000 spa weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that the episode you've always talked about that made the montage famous? Or was it said in the first season more?
No, we did in the first season.
Okay, because he said that, and I just thought it was so funny because on Mother's Day, we literally saw Alan, and like...
We did. We saw...
Literally...
We went to the montage for Mother's Day brunch, and the owner and the creator, I guess, of the montage was there, and we were reminiscing about...
it was just...
20 years ago, how the montage went open.
Seeing that in the episode, I thought that was super funny, given like we literally just saw him a few weeks ago.
Yep.
I thought that was super cute.
Yep.
But...
Yep.
It's like Julie booked herself into a $3,000 spa weekend.
I know. And I was like, I was like, wow, there were times when I was like, I just had one scene for the whole episode.
But it left an impact.
I know. And I'm wearing this.
Everyone remembers the Dior bikini that you have around your neck right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I'm just going to touch on all the little things about the adult storylines that I noticed because we didn't get a lot of comments about it, but we want my fresh perspective. On the last podcast, you and Rachel were like, this is the best Jimmy has ever looked. Like with this scruffy, I literally wrote down as I'm watching this, Jimmy looks rough and gross. And you and Rachel are like, this is the best he's looked. Like on the boat and like relaxed. I'm like, he looks like he hasn't showered in like 10 days. It was like, no, he looks gross. And you're like, this is the best he's looked.
I know, that's so funny. And well, I was noticing, if you notice, they were dressing him like he is a yachty. You know, he's got slides on. He's not dressed like in the first season. He was very Mr. Preppy and businessman and really short hair. And I don't know. I think both Rachel and I were like, this is a good look on Tate. But you're saying the opposite. No. Yeah. So
I mean, nothing against Tate. I mean, Tate's a beautiful man. Nothing against Tate. Yeah. But this man looked like he needed a shower. Like he looked like he lived on a boat and drank like 30 beers a day and didn't shower.
Right.
And like bathed in ocean water.
Right.
Like
he did.
He looked like he needed a clean shave and a haircut and a swift smack in the face to be like, buddy, what are you doing?
Right. Right. Oh no.
So
okay.
I just completely disagree with
that's
what you and Rachel said last episode.
Okay. That's a good one. Okay. So should we get into the scenes that people did talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
So I want to start with the Marissa Ryan DJ little shebang there.
I kind of thought like we started with the core four seeing each other for the first time.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Which I thought was really cute because some people, I love the audience. They have really perceptive comments and opinions. And it says M3TA1 on YouTube said, I love how every, oh my God, had its own individual meaning. You really have to know the story behind each character to know what they mean. And that's actually a really interesting choice as a writer to put into the script. Every character is going to say, oh my God. And it's going to be slightly different but
you know what each of them mean when they say it. It's different.
Right. And so in the last podcast, Rachel was like, I don't understand why Marissa is, oh my God, Ryan.
I don't either.
I do because when he said, I have to go. And she said, I understand. I just wish you didn't have to, because she's the one that she and Teresa became close. She found out that Teresa's pregnant, and she's the one that told Ryan Teresa's pregnant. And it doesn't change how she feels about him, but she understood that like she's got this heart of he has to go, and she never thought she'd see him again. So all this summer, she knows he's doing the right thing. He was upfront with her. He knew, whereas Seth left Summer in the lurch. And Seth, she wasn't, in her mind, she's like, you're leaving because Ryan's not here, but you're leaving, I'm here. Why do you have to leave me? Am I not good enough?
Oh, I think Summer's response, 100% valid. I back her up 1,000,000%.
Right. She's got a different experience with the man that she's in love with.
Right. Now that you've explained it a little bit more, I understand why Marissa wasn't upset with Ryan and why she's more like excited that he's there. But I still think her reaction was like a little too happy. She's like, oh my God, you're back. But like, couldn't he have called and like told her he was coming back? Like, I still think it was a little bit too like, even though she knows like he had to go, he like immediately, I'm so happy you're back. Let's get back together. I'm like, I don't know on either side, Ryan or Marissa's side. I don't think I would act that way. I think I'd be like, there's a lot we have to talk about. Let's see if we can do this. Not like immediately, let's chat after school and make out.
Yeah. So here's another thing. So jumping into, somebody said this. Let's say this. Justin Delp on Instagram said, such a great episode. Love when they first get dropped off, lol, by contractor Archie, and immediately see Summer and Marissa, and Summer's line to Seth is, great. You know, maybe I'll write you a letter and you can read it over and over and try to figure out what the hell I was thinking all summer, which is basically what she did. He said, you know, like, I got to go.
He wrote her a letter saying I'm leaving. Yeah.
And this comment on Instagram from Anna Spinal, Seth wanted Summer so much that when he finally got her, he left. How could he? This is what we're talking about. And then it was sad to see Marissa suffer after Ryan left. She never replaced him as quickly as he always did. She really loved him.
I want to comment on that.
Yeah.
Men love the chase. The second they know they have you,
right,
they're going to switch up on you. And that's what Seth did. You know what those men are? Narcissists. I'm just dropping some therapy bombs today, guys.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I've said in previous episodes, Seth is a narcissist. I've said this in previous episodes.
Well, and I think that and we've got a few comments down here that really talk about it. Here, can I say something that we're not going to talk about it too much, but I do love, first of all, Michael Cassidy and Zach, because we talked about it in the other podcast.
Michael Cassidy looks like such a little baby. He looks so young and cute.
So, they were talking about the anti-Seth and how he instantly, I had this thought watching this last night that I didn't the first time. And the way comic book aficionados talk about their characters, it's like, but Superman is flawed. And I realized that one of the things I didn't know about in the podcast world, because I don't talk about the OC, about the characters the way the fans do, or the way I realized the way comic book people who love comic books talk about the characters as they're real,
if they're real people. Yeah.
And I realize now that we talk about this, like the way they talk about comic books is the way we talk about the characters, like true fans on Reddit and everything. And
we're dissecting and breaking them down, and from for a grown woman who's been in therapy and also has a psychology degree, Seth is a narcissist.
Right. Yeah. From that behavior.
I don't think it's up for debate. Yeah. Season 1 episodes, season 3 episodes, season 4 episodes. Narcissist.
It was told to me by someone that I respect that, and it's, human beings all have their little sayings or their one-liners, their sound bites. No, just somebody who said, children are human beings at our core, are narcissists and survivors.
Were you asking for advice when you were parenting me?
Well, I may have been going through a divorce, obviously. And and it's like, because when something like that happens, the kids instantly go, well, what's going to happen to me? Not like, okay, you guys are going through, which is totally normal, but then they have to learn to survive. And human beings tend to say, okay, all these things are happening. You don't know it, but we have narcissistic tendencies. There's a difference between being a narcissist and having some characteristics. But I think we all have to learn how to somehow not be selfish. And I think Seth goes on a journey in this show where...
I was going to say, are you trying to defend Seth for his actions in this episode?
No, he's just on his journey.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's on their journey. Another TED Talk from Melinda Clark. Everyone is on a journey.
Okay.
But Seth is a narcissist or has narcissistic tendencies.
Okay.
You can still be on a journey and have narcissistic tendencies.
Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns. Investing can feel intimidating, and a lot of people don't know where to start. I certainly didn't when I was young. I thought you needed a lot of money to invest. But Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for your future. You don't need a lot of money or expertise to invest with Acorns. In fact, you can get started with just your spare change. Acorns recommends an expert-built portfolio that fits you and your money goals, then automatically invests your money for you. I really love the idea of being able to invest small amounts, even just spare change. I think it's really important to give your money a chance to grow with an investing app like Acorns. And I also like that I can invest while I spend and earn bonus investments while I shop my favorite brands. I think small actions that I take today, like investing spare change, can have the potential to have a massive impact on my future. Head to acorns.com/OC or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advertisers LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/OC. Okay, well, Len, I wanted to make a point of one of the beat notes that Corey.
Oh, right.
That I didn't get in the episode. So when we meet, first of all, when we see DJ for the first time, the yard guy, right? And we made the point that driveway was so long. And that was because, the driveway was short.
You had to keep recording. Yeah, to make the driveway long.
Pretty funny. And so the beats, first of all, his name was Diego, not DJ in the original idea. And which is a little too on the money.
Yeah, I think it's good that they changed it.
Yeah. But what wasn't clear, and it was an interesting way of how they did it, is that they had him show up as if he was creepy. I don't know why they had him show up in her room like he was creepy.
So creepy.
Right? Because
so creepy.
And so in the beat note, it literally says that he walks in. She says, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "What do you mean? I work here. And didn't you come home for me?" So we see, and it's very clear that he's in love with her. Or that they're like in love, or that and I was like, I didn't get that. I didn't
get that either.
That
I mean, obviously I've seen it, so I knew that they had been like hooking up over the summer. Like I've seen the show.
Mhm.
But if I was watching this for the first time, watching him walk into her room like that, I'd be like, why? Like, what the hell? What is this man doing in her doorway?
Yeah.
Watching her sensually put lipstick on with his shirt open, the hot yard guy who is hot in the yard.
Yeah.
Just watching her put lipstick on. And then you understand later on that, he's in love with her and, cares about her. But at first I was like, ew, like he's creepy. He's really creepy in that scene when he comes up behind her.
I think they were trying to make it sexy, and it
wasn't
came off a little and it came off a little creepy. And then we find out that, but then it's still, once we saw that they have a consensual thing going on, it still didn't translate to me that he was truly in love with her. And later on, we get a little bit more of that. But I thought it was interesting how their first idea doesn't necessarily translate. So
right. I mean, you get, as it goes on, obviously, just sticking with like the Marissa Ryan thing. Ryan, after school, after they see each other, Ryan comes over and Marissa is like showing them the house. This is where I was like, I understand they're both like Marissa's understanding of why he had to leave. But the fact that Ryan is like, we can just jump back to where we were when I had left to go have a kid with Teresa. And I know he's like, we weren't really dating, we weren't talking very much. It was awkward, blah, blah, blah. But he's at Marissa's house and kisses her. And I was like, if I was Marissa, I'd be like, hold up, buddy, take a step back. You just got here. I just saw you today after 3 months. And of course, DJ is lurking.
Well, but Marissa, over the summer, if you don't remember this, but she would pick up the phone and call in the middle of the night, and he'd say, hello, and there'd be silence. And it was her. Like they never stopped loving each other. And then when he sees it, he says, we really weren't even together. So like all of her dreams are coming true. And then she ends up like, she doesn't know what to do because maybe she does. It wasn't clear that she actually likes DJ. I don't know. There were some moments where I felt like sometimes they have to edit for time. And there was things that happened off camera.
That's what Patrick Rush said. Like with DJ just walking into her room, I feel like there needed to be something before that. Cause we go from her being in the driveway being like, move your effing car, like get out of my way. And then they're making out.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, you understand because later DJ goes, what about this whole summer? Like, did this mean nothing to you? What were you doing with me this whole summer? I saw you kissing that guy. And she's like, that's not me. And kissing her through the tears. And
that's the only thing that really showed that there's real feelings is her crying and how he is with her. Finally, it was like, okay, now we see that. And I don't know, sometimes when television moves so fast, I just felt like I didn't see that in the beginning.
Right. Watching it for the first time until that scene when she's like, I'm sorry, it's not like that. He was my boyfriend. Like, I care about you. I didn't want to hurt you. And she's crying. Mm-hmm. That's where you see that there's real feelings there. But all the other scenes before, it's weird. And of course, Ryan drives up right when they're kissing.
Yeah. And then and we talked a lot about this in the other podcast, but we should point it out. I watched it again. When he sees her at the carnival, it felt really real when she's like, hey, and I was going to tell you. And he goes, no, you weren't. And there was hurt and there was anger and there was
venom.
There was real betrayal. Like all you had to do
was tell me and I'd be okay with it. Like,
right?
I was off with Teresa. If there's something going with my friends know, if you're pissed at me, tell me. I want to know. I want things up front. I want the information. I want the honesty. The hiding creates additional problems. Mm-hmm. Like, I think if given Marissa and Ryan's relationship and where they were in this episode, I think if Marissa was like, I was actually seeing someone this summer, like, I didn't know if you were coming back, I think Ryan would be like, well, crap, that sucks, but okay, like, let's deal with it. But obviously, it makes for good television.
Because she likes him. She likes DJ. She likes both of them. She has feelings. And that wasn't super clear to me. So now the other thing before we get into the end of the show, the Summer Ryan scene where he comes to the door is so cute. And people...
So cute.
Right, where he gets all... and
you never have scenes between the two of them, ever.
Yeah. And so a couple people commented, and I thought it was really interesting. Reginate Pielksto. I don't know how to say that. I really think in an alternate universe where Summer and Seth and Marissa and Ryan weren't happening, Ryan and Summer could totally get together. At least I think their friendship could have been developed more.
Well, remember, what is it, the pilot? When Ryan shows up, Summer's like, he's hot. I want to date him.
Yeah. So, and I thought this was and somebody commented back on YouTube, MW-ZE7DT, all these names. And this person said, I always did have a problem with the lack of relationships the OC showed between other characters sometimes. For instance, you get Ryan and Sandy, but barely ever any Ryan and Kirsten. Seth and Marissa, except for the first few episodes of season 1, barely have any scenes together or anything at all that would show they are actually friends. And same with Summer and Ryan, but they have a few throughout the show, rarely at least. Will always love the show, but felt like they really ignored a lot of the friendship relationships between the characters. And it's true. Like they've talked about, Josh has said if he'd gone back, he would have done a lot more of that.
Yeah, I totally recognize that. But also, I will say, as like being a high schooler myself, like when I was dating my boyfriend in high school and one of his friends and one of my friends were dating, the 4 of us would like hang out. Or if there was another couple, it'd be like the 6 of us would hang out. But would I hang out with those guys like and actually be buddies with them?
Mm-hmm.
No. Like we were friends when we were together.
Right.
But would he and I, like my ex's friend, would we ever sit down and like have a, be like, hey, you want to go like get lunch? Or like, I don't know. Like maybe this conversation is different, but like I would never have like been friends with the boyfriend of my best friend. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think in terms of television, since the audience is invested in these characters, because we don't see, from time to time, you see Ryan and Julie together and you're like, oh, like Julie and Seth never had a conversation, which would have been kind of interesting. Like,
it would have been funny.
But because the audience was like, oh my God, I've never seen a scene with them. That actually gets people even more invested in it.
No, I completely understand from the TV perspective, and I think it would have been cool to have more. Yeah. But then that's another thing. Like this scene with Ryan and Summer is so sweet because you can see they obviously care about each other, they're friends, but what makes it special is that it only happens at certain times.
Right.
If they were having conversations like this all the time, this wouldn't have such an impact that it did. What makes it special is that it's like limited.
Right. And she gives him a different perspective than what he was expecting when he said, you guys, and I said this in the last podcast, that they've gone off and done this and they're not picturing that, they don't know what the consequences are of their actions, but she's the first one that's going to spell it out and say, it's not because of you. He would have done it this way, which I agree with. He would have figured out a way to screw it up. And she's like, I've moved on. We've all moved on. And you need to talk to Marissa. And, because he's like, let's go back to the way we were. And I love this. She says, the way we were wasn't that great. Think about it. It wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So let's avoid the hurt. She has a broken heart. Let's avoid the hurt. So let's jump into that Summer Seth scene at the carnival, which Rachel looks so cute in that sweater.
Oh, wait. I totally forgot. We're talking about outfits, but I need to jump back.
Okay.
Zach we didn't really talk about Zach in the comic book club, but so Zach goes to the comic book club with Ryan and Seth. That scene was so funny. Yeah. Where Ryan's like, hey, Seth, like if it's just the two of us, Ryan Atwood present, like very funny scene. And Zach sitting down, because you don't know that Summer and Zach are together when you see him sit down. Mm-hmm. But so they sit down, Seth loves Zach. He's like, man crush, whatever. And then Zach walks down the stairs and gives Summer a little kiss. And Seth is like the whole wasp comment. Uh-huh. Summer's outfit was to die for. Like white linen pants, a really cute red and white striped, like pink, kind of peplum shoulder top and like tiny, tiny white kitten heels.
That was like
glued in my mind. So cute.
Oh, cute.
So cute.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's very you.
Oh, so me. Can we call up Rachel and ask if she has that and if she can give it to me?
No, we found out Rachel doesn't have anything.
Yeah, Rachel doesn't have anything.
No. I've got
Maybe we call Josh. Be like, hey, Josh, you have this stuff. CG wants it.
I don't think it'll work. No, Warner Brothers kept it.
Don't crush my dreams of that outfit. But she looked really cute. So
she did. And okay, so Seth Summer, the relationship and how he's like, it worked before. I'm going to make these huge declarations and I'm going to go, like one of the better quotes was she's like, what are you doing? It looks like you're humping the hot dog cart.
Yeah. So he goes and tries to find another thing to profess his love on. Which I'm like,
and it
if I was Summer, I'd be like,
yes.
I think her reaction was very valid. She's like, stop, get down, stop.
Right. So we know the epic scene. We know the epic. So I just want to get into the comments of what people were saying about this because Sparkles and Nargles on Instagram, and she quoted,
we've quoted her before. Nargles is a Harry Potter thing.
Okay. It seems you only want me when you can't have me. You like the chase Cohen. That's all. And I love this. She said, top tier teenage TV right there.
That was a very, very adult line. And it's taken me until, let's look at my watch, yesterday to realize that men like that. And so we don't see Summer be like emotional a lot. Especially in the first season, she's like fun, happy-go-lucky, like they're doing all this fun stuff. This episode was Summer's emotional release episode, and I loved it.
And read the next
I was so here for it. The next comment by Heavenly Gal 10 on YouTube said, oh, how I love this scene, even as heartbreaking as it is. Rachel as Summer here nails the emotions. Adam too. I think in his persistence as Seth, and then disappointment as what Summer says to him sinks in. But Rachel Bilson's performance sells this scene for me and is a big part in why this is one of my absolute favorites of this great series. I love and miss the OC so much. Seth and Summer forever. Yes. Rachel, you slayed, girl.
Yeah. She's like, no, you don't. And you could, sometimes when actors cry, you have to light the tear. Otherwise the camera doesn't pick it up. And I just saw this line of a tear.
Yeah. A tiny, tiny glimmer.
Yeah.
And then someone else said bar 545.
Yeah. He's one of our Patreons. He commented.
Patreon.
Very.
He said the Seth and Summer scene at the end was tough because at that point he still doesn't understand the damage he caused by running away.
Right.
You know what? Men don't know what they have until it's gone.
Right.
Sorry. I'm making this episode a lot about me today.
That's all we do. In our world, we react. The world is the way the world is. How we react to it is on us. So,
hey, Mom, at least I didn't cancel today and cry in my bed.
Aww.
Here doing the podcast.
Baby Ryan 96 on YouTube said, the one thing I really hated about Seth and Summer not being together is the way she treated Seth when they weren't together. Every time they weren't together, Summer always acted like she regretted being with Seth.
Their relationship is messy.
Yeah, it's although somebody else said it was healthy on the last podcast, but I don't know. So this person didn't like her saying, I regret. And I think what this person's trying to say is, I loved my time together and I'm just moving on. She's not like that. It's because she still loves him.
And she's just so deeply hurt by his actions.
Right. So this person,
I don't think she regrets him.
Yeah. Narnian Hogwarts on YouTube.
Narnia Hogwarts.
Narnian. Summer doesn't regret their whole relationship. She loves Seth. She's angry with him at this point for good reason. He ran off in a sulk, left her and his parents and his whole life because what? Ryan couldn't be his living best mate anymore. Ryan was only moving an hour or so away. I've always said that. Seth could have still seen him often, and Ryan could have visited the Coens anytime. It's weird that they all act like Ryan is going to Mars or something. That's a TV trope. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But then he pursued her for years after messing her around by dating Anna, and she chose to be with him. Then he had a massive tantrum and ran away from home. This is like she meant nothing, all because his best mate moved away. Seth was always a selfish, self-involved ass, and frankly, it's a wonder he ever had any people in his life. Whoa.
I'm a girl, Narnia and Hogwarts. I think you're the only one who agrees with me that he's a narcissist. And
no, we definitely.
Seth is a poo pants.
We said at the end of the podcast who is our least favorite character.
Oh yeah,
we
Seth.
all said Seth in that episode. But and then this is the part which this is why I love reading the comments from the audience, because this
is another comment from the same person.
I always viewed Seth as the character in a show that is well written or well thought out, because he liked Ryan a lot, since he wasn't like Newport, who are selfish, involved, and judgmental. Yet that's exactly how Seth was, until he hates the same thing that he was actually doing. And I like her take on this. He was a nerd and a loser, so he never had much of a social life until his teen years. So I guess it makes sense that he acted so immature the way he did a lot. He had the most growing up to do in the way. I'm not defending him or anything, because I was annoyed how he treated Summer and Anna and his dumb decisions. But I think the show idea was pretty insightful to have the character who always saying how he hates the way people of Newport are without realizing he's exactly what he hates. And then watch him slowly but finally grow up and out of it.
So, Mom, did you make a YouTube account under a fake name and post that comment? Because that sounds literally word for word like a conversation we've had. You always says things people dislike most about others reflect their own insecurities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's coming out of people's mouths is about themselves. So anytime you, a human being or one, has a reaction to something like how could she do that? Or you comment on a celebrity the way they look, or you comment on somebody's political, or you comment. If it evokes an emotion in you, that person or that thing that you're commenting on did not cause that. It is something in you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mother, you are so full
of shit.
Of wisdom. No, I was going to say wisdom. I'm not cussing for the rest of the episode. I told you that. Man.
So
I told you I wasn't going to cuss anymore. We have
a special guest, Andrea Kozlovic, and look, you lit yourself so nicely.
I had it turned off.
We love when people have the right lighting. They have the headphones in. They're centered on the screen. It makes everything so much easier.
So I just always notice, when I post these things for the podcast on my Instagram, her handle is Making Waves. Is it just Making Waves?
Yes, Making Waves Photo.
Making Waves Photo. So Andrea is a professional underwater wildlife photographer, I guess as you would call that. And you're a specialist, and your company is called Making Waves Photography. And she's always just commenting the greatest things. And finally I was like, first of all, I looked at, you would say the nicest things. And then I looked at your profile, and I'm just in awe
oh my gosh,
of what you do.
My mom and my stepdad are such a big nature, very big nature people. And when my mom sent me her page, I was like, oh my God, on the podcast right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit what you do. How'd you get into doing underwater photography? What is the process? Just the full rundown.
Yeah. So it's very random, and probably kind of the opposite reaction that most people had to seeing the movie Jaws. But when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, I watched the movie Jaws. And my mom had told me, she's like, don't watch it. You're going to be scared. And my older sister was having a sleepover. Of course, you want to do what the big kids do. So I watched the film, and then I proclaimed to my mother, standing in my living room, that I love sharks. They're so cool. And someday I'm going to work with them. So kind of fast forward to college, and I studied photography. So I always had kind of a science background mixed with an art background, which is pretty unique. And then about a decade ago now, I was doing research work in South Africa with a variety of shark species, and I loved that. And that was kind of, the science conservation aspect, but I really, really, really wanted to be in the water. So I was certified scuba diving here actually in Canada. And then within 2 months, I was diving in South Africa and got my camera very soon after. So yeah.
That's incredible. I don't think anyone watches Jaws and goes, sharks are cool.
I know. Yeah. I'm the only one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I actually read an article on, it was oceanculture.life. It was an interview about how one, because I mean, I was just like, I kept saying, look at this photo of the sea turtle, and just like you have sharks smiling, and at one point I'm like, this looks like it's a painting. And underwater photography isn't as simple as having a casing for you need like a strobe, or you need a light or something, correct?
Yeah.
It's like it's a complicated craft, I would imagine.
It is, and so much of it is out of your control. From are the animals going to show up today? What are the conditions like? Is it bright? Is there a lot of particulate in the water? Are there going to be people in the way? Am I going to be able to line up the shot I want? And then does your camera gear work as you intended? The lighting, and then post production. So there's so many things that need to come into play to create that image. So it's just, it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh my God.
It sounds like such an exciting job, though. Like, I went to marine biology camp when I was a kid multiple times, and it was like,
oh, wonderful.
I mean, my degree's in psychology, so I didn't go that route, but I just think like marine life is such a fascinating subject. And what do they say? It's like 90% of the ocean is still like untapped knowledge, like to us or something.
Yeah.
So I just think your career is like super, super cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you have a favorite photo or animal that you love to follow around? Because obviously I would think it would be time consuming. There's patience involved and such, but are sharks your number one?
So yes. So sharks are my number one, largely because I mean, their populations are really dwindling. Our behavior is heavily impacting our oceans. So for me, I really like to portray sharks kind of in their natural light. They're just out there swimming around. They're not out there trying to, harm people. And the positive interactions that humans can and do have daily with sharks. So, and especially when I find, a shark that has an injury, a fish hook, a broken jaw, something like that, I really kind of focus that dive on photographing that specific individual, just to really try and, get it across like what we are actually doing to our oceans, because it's, you can talk about it until you're blue in the face, but until people actually do see that, and until you can kind of, almost humanize and put, a face behind the issue, that's when people really start to care about it. So that's kind of my focus there.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful. So thank goodness for people like you that can put the spotlight, so to speak, on what the human footprint is,
and are brave enough to have a flash bulb going off in front of a shark.
Yeah. Thank you.
So how did you get involved with the OC? Switching gears. How did it become your favorite show? When did you start watching it?
Yeah, so I watched it live on TV. So I loved it. And I mean, that's, I'm born and raised in the middle of Canada. So, I feel like everyone like loves the ocean, and, I loved California. Then this show came out, and it really that's how I started shopping at like Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch. And I mean, everyone wanted to be Marissa, and, all the characters, like everyone was on, every magazine cover everywhere, and, shop this, this look. And I remember like the denim skirts from Abercrombie. So yeah, I've been there like from day one, being able to watch them live for the first time, like one at a time, each week. So it's wonderful to have them available streaming now, not just, on my DVDs, so I can kind of watch them whenever I want. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Well, that's awesome.
You make a good point. I was actually, when I was just doing my research yesterday, I stumbled on a Vogue article because we had 3 different costume designers over the years, and they had interviewed all of the costume designers from the OC, and Alexandra Welker, who did our first season, was talking about how the surf culture, obviously the wasn't as prevalent throughout all the states and into Canada and such when we first started. And I was like, is that true? Because we like Quicksilver and Hobies and those kinds of things were in California. But I did notice things had started to permeate through the
Uggs. Well, Marissa Cooper started Uggs.
Well, it definitely, Uggs were a thing when I grew up in high school in the 80s.
But when Marissa Cooper was wearing them in season 1,
surfers would wear them afterwards. But yes, when Misha wore them, I remember going, God, I remember those from high school. And things did blow up. You're right, that a show like that can have that kind of impact where things kind of, and you're right, a surf shop is in every state across the country and in Canada and places like that. So it's a good point.
Mom, I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So in the last podcast, you and Rachel when you guys did this episode, had some rapid fire questions for Patrick.
Okay.
And I wrote them down. So I'm going to ask you two the rapid fire for this episode. Andrea, you watched the episode. You had no idea we were doing this. So what was your favorite outfit of the whole episode?
Andrea?
Oh my gosh. That's so tough. I just honestly the bikinis when Summer and Marissa were laying by the pool discussing the yard guy. I loved that. That's suntan, at the time, a little more tanning than we all probably do now, but I love that.
Right. No, the whole era when Marissa is living at Caleb's mansion is yeah. Mom, what about you?
Well,
I want to see if your answers have changed.
You can't see this. I surprised CG because I pulled it out. I have the bikini.
The Dior bikini she was wearing.
Oh my gosh.
But I found it, but I'm laughing. You know how elastic doesn't last. It's now stretched. It's a little too.
I love it.
Big it is. But I mean, that was one scene in that bikini was epic. But I always loved Marissa at the kickoff carnival, that rainbow sweater. I thought that was, but now that I rewatched it last night, I love Summer's Argyle sweater at the. And what about you, CG? You picked
I already told you my favorite outfit, Mom. But it's when after the comic book club meeting, when Seth and Zach are okay, bye, see you later, buddy. And Zach walks towards Summer and kisses her. That outfit she's wearing, the white linen pants, red and white striped shirt, the little kitten heels, to die for. Okay, favorite line of the whole episode.
Oh my gosh, I love
because this one had so many one-liners.
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes on in this episode. So I love right when they realize that Zach goes up, kisses Summer, and Seth is so shocked, and Ryan was you just wanted to date him. I think that's he was I can't believe she's dating him, and Ryan literally quipped something back you just wanted to date him, because Seth was he had such a bromance with him right at the start. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. When I didn't do this, CG, but actually before I didn't do a synopsis. I just read off my favorite quotes, and but originally I wrote off that exchange between Seth and Ryan, just that one exchange where he was like, dude, because it was so good. Where he was he's me. He's the
wasp version of me.
Ryan goes, but you think you're, and he goes, yeah, I do. He's the opposite of me. Anyway, I like that. I still think that just because Rachel said it's the favorite thing she's ever said, there was a hot guy, and what is
the hot yard guy, and he was hot, and he was in the yard.
Yeah, and he was hot. That was a good one. Yeah. So
I think my favorite is Summer being you had me at Christmas in a Wonder Woman suit, and you chose Anna. Yeah, I'm girl.
Very good.
Yes, I love that she's laying it down. Okay. Favorite character in this episode?
Yeah. I love Sandy. The way that when, he has a little tiff with the contractor, and he really stands up for his family, is you can't talk to Ryan that way, and boots him out of the house. So I'm going to say Sandy.
That's a good
answer.
That is really good, because we never ever see Sandy like that. And
he was scary. He was angry.
Julie threatening him. We were saying, I don't know if that we found out the original beats. We have some it's called a beat sheet before they write the script. It was sent to me, and in the original, it said that Julie, when she finds out about Caleb, she gets vulnerable and it's will you help us, as opposed to saying Kirsten's going down. So it lent. So for Sandy to be so upset that he's,
it was great. It was so good.
Control over what's going on, and he's just angry at the world. And then the scene afterwards when she says that Kirsten's I just want to say I'm really sorry for the way I treated you over the summer. And he goes, it's not about you. And she's oh, good, because you were scary. And he goes, I was scary? It was good. I don't know. Yeah. I just love quoting the show. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. What about you?
But Mom, who was your favorite character, Sandy?
Oh. No, I like Summer in this one. I think Summer really, and at one point, I said this in the last podcast, but I really liked how we were talking about how Marissa was Ryan, hi, and Summer was wait a second, they did this and we're not on the same page. And she wanted Marissa to be on the same page with her, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
Marissa was like, I'm glad he's back. Like, she's been pining for him. And Summer has a different reaction.
No, I'm with you. Summer's my favorite of this whole episode. Like, I think she's just so, like, this episode's girl power. Patrick Rush said it last time. This episode is girl power. Like, Marissa, Summer,
Haley, the way
Haley being like, I'm going to Japan. Julie with the freaking help. Like, this is just like women laying down the law. So I'm here for Summer. And okay, last question. Least favorite character of the whole episode?
Honestly, I feel so bad saying this. I think Seth.
Seth.
Like,
Seth.
He has no
Don't feel
consideration for like Summer's feelings, what he did. Yeah, he just tries to, I'll just jump up here again and make it a big deal, and then I'll run into the road. And like I loved that Summer like laid into him and was like not just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I love that. So unfortunately, Seth for this one, my least favorite.
For this episode, Seth, obviously.
Well, and just the fact that he's like, the episode before this, when, Sandy and Ryan literally say, please come back. And Seth says to Ryan, are you going? And he was like, well, I can't. I've got to be with Teresa. And he goes, fine, then I'm not going either. You're right. He was so selfish, and he was so...
He was a whiny little baby.
Oh, man. So I've got a couple questions.
Yeah, sorry. That was my rapid fire. When I heard you guys doing that at the end of the last episode, I was like, we're going to do that again. We're doing it again.
Yeah. So do you agree then? I think I know the answer, Andrea. Is Summer right to not forgive Seth so easily? I think we all agree that,
Yes.
He doesn't. Yes. He didn't stay for Summer. He left because Ryan left, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I was proud of her.
Yeah. Okay. So is DJ hot?
I mean, yeah, I love the scene when he's like watering the grass and somehow he's soaking that as well.
It's like he took the hose and like dumped it on himself. Yeah. Okay, well, yes, the actor and DJ is hot, but they make him creepy. They make him creepy at the beginning when he's like creeping behind her, and they don't explain it until later that it wasn't actually creepy, that they like each other, but he's creepy at the beginning. So I didn't find him hot. I was like, this guy's a weirdo.
Oh, okay. Well,
at the beginning.
So there's a movie that you've probably never seen, William Hurt, Kathleen Turner, Body Heat. It's an early, I want to say 1980.
Before my time.
Movie. And it is one of and it reminded me of that just like, there's like a carnal, I think they were trying to make it sexy, but.
It kind of reminded me like 50 Shades of Grey. Like, she's in the red room and he walks in behind her and he's like, go sit over there. I was like waiting for something like that to happen. And I was like, I'm scared. These are teenagers. This girl is a junior in high school. Get away. This is not going to be 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. Okay, my question. This episode introduced Zach. Do you remember liking or not liking his character when you first watched it?
Ooh, so I was excited, like just for a moment, when him and Seth are talking about, Wonder Woman and everything, just having a little comic meeting. And I'm like, oh, great. Another friend for Seth. And then very quickly, he's with Summer. It seems okay. And then obviously, this episode, I like Zach. That opinion definitely changes throughout the season, though.
Right. You don't see his manipulative side until later.
Yes.
But he's so cute. Michael Cassidy just looks like a little baby in this episode.
Patrick Rush made a comment, our casting director in the first podcast, that he said, you want to it's a real fine line. There's a balance that you want to cast people that you do like. You don't want them, you still want the audience to pine for the original couple. And I was like, so you like them together, it's temporary, and I think it worked with Zach, but he's one of the characters that stayed around longest. As opposed to, Shannon Lucio.
Is Shannon Lucio Lindsay?
Yeah, she ended up leaving a little earlier than I think they thought. So
does Lindsay come in the next episode?
Yeah, she's coming up. Yeah. So you mentioned to me, I remember when we were communicating about doing this, what is it about season 2 that you said, oh, it's a great season? Or do you have a favorite episode, or do you have a favorite season, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, season 2, I think, is my favorite season because you do dig a little more into each character. And, there are some new, trials and tribulations and things that kind of happen after this episode. This one, I mean, is so early in the season. It's a good one. This is one of my favorite episodes.
This is a good episode.
So I was really excited. It so much happens. There's so many different dynamics, so many different relationships that we see. And I just love this episode.
I'm surprised that this is so low on, like, obviously I know there's so many episodes in season 1 and 2, but I do remember watching this one for the first time, and I'm surprised it's not like it's only higher. 41. I'm surprised it's not higher.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
so there was a couple more comments that I was going to say from Instagram. I thought this was the cutest comment. This person, Isabelita Bakes, she said, "This is my sleepy episode. Whenever I'm anxious, I put it on and it sends me straight to sleep." And I was like a lullaby? I thought that was
this episode got me riled up and angry and ready to kick some male hiney. Sorry, Andrea, I was cussing a lot before you came on here, so now I'm watching myself.
No worries.
This episode made me want to go to some guys. So...
Yeah, I thought it was really neat too, because when I was watching it for the first time, I was a very similar age to, Marissa, Ryan, Summer, Seth.
I was too.
So being able to see, Summer really stand up for herself and not just fun, oh, okay, you can come back in. You're I loved that. I thought that was a really important message, and you didn't see it a lot of the time. Same thing, Julie's such a strong female character. Those characters were very important, and I really think they shaped things. I really do.
Yes, I know.
Ladies, reiterating what I said at the beginning of the episode, a man cannot come back into your life just like that. That's not okay. If he treats you wrong, that's not okay.
Right. Oh, man. Let me read a couple more of these quotes, because I think they're really fun. Because people didn't, they just... when I posted for this episode, it literally was that just I'm sorry, CG, but just truly love bombing for this episode. Grimfire 24. My God, I love this show. And you straight up snatched my heart. Clementine Monin. Okay. All this in one episode. The best show ever. And then my personal favorite from Alexis Scarano. This show will always and forever be one I tell my great-great-grandkids about, and nothing will ever top it. Even watching these slight flashbacks, my heart aches and throbs for what once was.
This episode, I will say, is prime OC. Yeah. I don't think they could have done anything different in this, besides maybe adding a little bit more about DJ so he didn't seem as creepy. But I don't think they could have done anything different in this episode. This was prime OC television, all the drama, all the feelings. This episode was great.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much. Well, listen, it's, first of all, fantastic to meet you, and I'm so grateful that you do what you do, and you're a fantastic guest. I have a feeling I'm actually going to ask you back, because I love that you have some you just seem so invested, and that's what we love here. And so what is your Instagram and website info in case anybody wants to check out your work?
Share all your socials.
Yeah. So my Instagram is @makingwavesphoto. And my website is makingwavesphoto.com. So, and that is linked to my Instagram as well.
Yes. We'll put that in the show notes as well.
Go check it out, you guys. Her work is wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I just want to let everyone know, thank you all so very much for listening. Please be sure to check out my Instagram stories and posts @TheMelindaClark, as well as our weekly Reddit thread for what episodes we're covering next. Will it be one of your favorites? Do you want to join us on the pod? If so, just like Andrea, please go to speakpipe.com/OCBitch or email us at beyondtheocpodcast@gmail.com to let us know why and what makes this episode your favorite or another. Do you have a favorite line, favorite scene? We might play your voicemail on the show or ask you to come live to discuss. If you'd like to watch the podcast, check it out on Beyond the OC YouTube channel. You can leave comments there too.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, join our Patreon to get episodes early and ad-free, and to discuss the previous week's episode live on Zoom, and to be a part of our audience when we're recording episodes. You can leave comments and we'll answer throughout the episode. And join us next week for number 40 on the countdown, drumroll please, The Blaze of Glory, Season 2, Episode 16.
Very good.
With that being said, thank you, Andrea, for coming.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And everyone, bye.
Bye, bitches.